Guys, my name is Kawanga, and I'm here bringing you a new video on a couple of things, actually. One of the first things I want to talk about is basically what I'm playing on right now. I'm actually playing on my own server. It is a modded server, a mod pack put together by myself and a few friends. One of them actually is Axier. We're really focusing on kind of bringing a lot of the cool mods, a lot of the stuff you'd see in the Direwolf 20 pack, but a little bit more balanced. No equivalent exchange or something like that. That would, as you can see in my previous videos, you can really use those to your advantage, I guess you could say. We definitely have a lot of cool mods. We also have bucket integration, so that means we can use things like Essentials, World Guard, World Edit, a lot of cool mods, including my own, which is actually Trade Mod on this server. So if you want to come by and stop by, I'm going to have a link in the description so that you guys can come by and play in the server. Kind of hang out with us. There's only 3 of us online right now. Me, Axe, and Silver Sleek here. But we're always looking for new people. It's pretty cool. We don't have a lot of roles. We don't have a lot of disabled items. Do have a whitelist for miscraft, chunk loading, and quarries, because these are they're lag generators, or they they require a lot of responsibility, and I have to make sure that you're I'm not giving those out to people who might abuse them for the least, because we don't have a really powerful server running this. But anyway, so now let's get on to the major thing. I have no idea. Let's get on with the major thing I want to show here. As you saw up there, we actually have a Zombie Pigman spawner running with the Soul Shards mod. It's a tier 5 Zombie Pigman spawner. And as you might know, Zombie Pigmen like to drop gold nuggets. I believe they also drop gold ingots, and they also like to drop gold swords. Now, obviously, gold ingot, gold nuggets, and gold swords, they are very useful normally. Gold swords aren't very good good swords. They can be enchanted a lot, but they have a very low durability. And gold nuggets, honestly, basically the only thing you're going to want to do is convert those into gold bars. As we can see here, we actually do have gold ingots. So how exactly am I converting gold swords and gold nuggets into gold ingots? Well, let's go down here. Let's go down under the spawner, and we have a machine set up here that'll do it all for us. So we're using primarily in this build Redpower 2 and Buildcraft. That's pretty much it. I also do have a tube stuff block here, known as the incinerator, but I'll get to that later. The first thing I want to talk about is gold nuggets. How do we convert gold nuggets into gold ingots? Well, the answer is we use Buildcraft auto crafting tables. As you can see here, the transposers are picking up all the items that are being dropped by the Zombie Pigman, and they're transferring back up into the barrels. But what we want to focus on is this line right here. Basically, this filter is filtering out all the gold ingots being dropped by the Zombie Pigman and putting it into this chest right here. This chest acts as sort of a buffer. That way, in case something goes wrong, the auto crafting table stops working for whatever unbelievable reason, or suddenly we start getting thousands of Zombie Pigmen running and dying per second. That chest is there to act as a buffer. Basically, it's actually there so that we can convert between Redpower, which this filter is, to Buildcraft. So it's there as really sort of a really like last resort in case something really screws up on the server, which probably will never ever happen. But as you can see, it's getting pulled out by these redstone engines. They work. We don't have the design here yet. Oh my god. We don't have the design here yet to actually make sure that we're using our target gates, because we do not have any power generation really going yet with any assembly tables yet. But eventually this will be replaced with auto crafting target gates, which work exactly like these fully powered Redpower redstone engines. So anyway, these gold nuggets are going into this chest, and this chest acts as the inventory that this auto crafting table is going to pull out the gold nuggets for. And we can see that the gold nuggets to gold ingot crafting recipe is being used here. And it's just being pulled out by these two redstone engines, which will cause this crafting table to craft whatever it has into the gold ingots, and it's being put into this relay. This relay is here because Redpower tubes and Buildcraft pipes, they don't interface. They're not the same mod. I cannot connect this Redpower pneumatic tube to this Buildcraft pipe, so I have to have a block in between that allows me to put items into it and then put it out into these pneumatic tubes, so that I don't have to worry about the inability for me to interface with Buildcraft pipes and pneumatic tubes. So that's the relay's job here. All it does is it basically gets items that are put into its inventory, and it just spits it out into this pneumatic tube. So that's how we convert gold nuggets into gold ingots. But now you might be asking, how in the heck do you convert gold swords into gold ingots? And that's a very good question. It's a little bit more complex than what we have here, these gold nuggets, the gold nuggets system we have here. And my answer to that is, this is all entirely based off the fact that Zombie Pigman will drop the same damaged sword each time it dies, and that damaged sword has a damage value of 7. It can also, we're not sure exactly, but just in case it does drop a golden sword that is fully repaired, we do have that handled here. So anyway, all the golden swords are being thrown into this filter, which go into this pneumatic tube system here. Basically, there's a restriction tube which goes into an incinerator, and a normal pneumatic tube which goes into that chest. There's also a pneumatic tube coming up from the ground, but I'll talk about that later. So anyway, why do we have this restriction tube here? Basically, it's another one of those last resort things. Just in case we can't keep up with the production of golden swords from the Zombie Pigman for whatever reason, and somehow this barrel, this chest, and this golden chest all fill up with golden swords, this restriction tube, which acts as kind of a last resort in itself, basically restriction tubes tell the pneumatic tube system that it's 5,000 blocks away. It acts as if it's a pneumatic tube that is 5,000 blocks away. And since pneumatic tubes work, they have a logic system in them so that they know where to go. They'll always pick the closest available area to go to instead of going through this restriction tube, which acts as if it's really, really far away. So that's how that works. But this restriction tube is here just in case we have to deal with an insane amount of overflow. And this incinerator is a tube stuff block that basically works as a Redpower version of the void pipe. It just gets rid of things. It just destroys them instantaneously instead of using a filter or a transposer or something like that as a means of destroying items by dropping into lava. It's better on the server, and it works better, basically. So if we go over here, I have to kind of figure out how I'm going to get over there. Once again, this is very compact. We weren't really thinking about getting around things. So anyway, if we go over here, we can see that items will go into this gold chest, and it'll go into this chest. This chest acts as the inventory in which this auto-crafting table will take from. And this auto-crafting table uses the fact that vanilla Minecraft has the capability for you to put 2 damaged items, or 2 normal items, or 2 whatever, of the same type that have a durability value. Now, this is not for every item, this is not for every mod item. It's basically for tools, armor, and things like that. And if you put them in if you put them into 2 crafting slots, you can do this in your own inventory if you want to. It will output an item that is repaired. It basically combines the two durability values and tries to figure out what durability to give it. I believe there's a bonus. It's not exactly it doesn't exactly add them together. It does some sort of bonus thing depending on the durability of the items. But if you want to know more about that, definitely look that up on the Minecraft wiki. But anyway, items from the chest are getting pulled out into this auto-crafting table, which is then repairing the damaged golden swords or the normal golden swords. We're taking that into account here. Unfortunately, we can it'd be rather difficult for us to filter out the normal damage sword, normal golden swords, or we'd have to have another filter here. So we just decided, hey, you know, we're getting enough gold anyway. We're getting free gold, so might as well just take that into account and know that we might end up losing efficiency here. But it works basically regardless. We don't have to worry about really having any damaged swords go through this relay or get put out of the auto crafting table, because all the swords have a durability value of 7, and combining that with another 7 will give you a full sword, so it's really not that bad. But anyway, it's getting pulled out from the auto crafting table into this relay, and like I said before, relay is a way for Buildcraft pipes and pneumatic tubes to interface with each other. And this relay is putting it out into this barrel. What this barrel is here for is it's a buffer, basically, again. But it's also here as a means to check for damage. And one of the cool things about the factorization barrel is that it's not only a really, really cool way of storing items, but it's also a way, it also doesn't allow any damaged items to go into its inventory. So if, for instance, for some reason we get a damaged sword, like has a damage value of 1 or something like that, it comes to this relay and it gets output into this pneumatic tube system. Instead of going to this barrel, because it can't, because it's not a valid inventory, because the barrel will not accept a damaged sword, it will instead be output into this line. And like I said before, restriction tubes act as if they're 5,000 blocks away. Now, and normally it wouldn't do this regardless. It would simply just output it out that way, and any swords that could be accepted in this barrel would be accepted regardless, even without this restriction tube. But this is just a safeguard to make sure that it really has to think twice before putting it back out into this. And basically, all this does is it runs those damaged swords that might be damaged in this, like going through this relay, back around up into the system. So that's why there's a pneumatic tube coming out of here. And we're using the Redpower tubes, covers, and hollow covers as a way of keeping this very neat. And yes, we're using dirt. So, it's a little bit neater looking than having to look at pneumatic tubes all day. So anyway, now then, we get on to the interesting part. What we have here is a transposer and a timer, and the transposer acts as a way for us to pull items out of an inventory, and it'll pull an item out of this barrel. Barrels are sighted, so items go in through the top, and items can come out through the bottom, and no other way. The sides are not, you cannot use the sides unless you have a sneaky pipe, and that's with logistics pipes or AE, and that's something we can get on with later. It doesn't apply in this build. So, anyway, this transposer will pull items out from this barrel, the golden swords, into a pneumatic tube, which then puts it into an alloy furnace. The alloy furnace can, oh well, I'll have to tell Axe to give me the dirt back. But anyway, the alloy furnace kind of has a secondary function. You can make blue electric alloys, you can make red alloys, you can make a bunch of cool things with that. You make red dope wafers, blue dope wafers. But one of the cool things that it can do is it can act as an uncrafting table, basically. It can take tools. I'm pretty sure they're only just vanilla tools. I'm not entirely sure. Vanilla tools, vanilla armor, mine carts as well. It can do. And it can convert that back into its base materials. It doesn't actually convert it back into sticks or anything like that, so it's a very good option for us to use. But it'll take that golden sword that gets put into here, I'll even show you. It'll take that golden sword, and it'll put it into the blue electric alloy furnace. And you can also use a normal alloy furnace for this. They do exactly the same thing. And it basically breaks down the golden sword, and it outputs the 2 gold ingots that were used to make it. So it has to be fully repaired, which is why we're doing the repairing over here. If we were to put a damaged sword in there, it would not do anything. It can't do anything with it because it's not fully repaired. So anyway, just to let you know, the blue electric alloy furnace is sighted, which means that, or the alloy furnace in general is sighted, which means that you have to use a certain side to make it automated. Basically, items are input through the top. Items to be smelted are inputted through the top. Fuel is inputted through the left side, so the left side from where it's facing you. So the left side would be this side, but a blue electric alloy furnace doesn't have fuel. It uses blue electricity. I don't really know how to say that. Sorry. But because it doesn't have a fuel input slot, it doesn't. You need to use that side, so that's why the pneumatic tube isn't connecting that way. And it outputs through the left side, so not the left side, the right side of the block. So the right side is this side, so as we can see we have another transposer, which is basically being run by the same timer over there, and some covers, and red alloy wiring, and it's just pulling out whatever comes out of this output slot back into this pneumatic tube line, and back up the system, and all gold ingots will just go back up through the system and into our barrel, which let me get on here real quick and I'll show you. And we've been running this for about 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes, so we can show you here that it does successfully output all the gold that it gets into this gold barrel. So we now have 342 gold ingot by simply running a Zombie Pigman spawner. So that is how you effectively deal with the gold swords and the gold nuggets and the things you get from a Zombie Pigman spawner. And one of the coolest things you can do, especially when it's set up like this, is if you have the Xenos Reliquary mod, if you don't have it, then you can simply use EE3 or something like that to do this. You can actually use alkahestry, the alkahest, which is an item available from Xenos Reliquary, and an automatic crafting table and things like that, to eventually turn this gold into, say, iron or diamonds or something like that. Basically, if you have Xenos Reliquary, you could do that. If you have EE3, you can convert this gold into 4 iron, or you can convert 4 gold into a diamond. So it's just it could be a secondary way of doing, say, an ender pearl farm or a wood farm for EE3 to create diamonds or something like that. So it's really cool that way. But if you're just looking for gold, this is a great way to do it, and a great way to kind of make sure that everything you get from the Zombie Pigman isn't wasted, and you don't have to worry about the gold swords. So, hope you guys like the video, and hope you guys come and stop by on the Corvus Industrial server, which the server is called, and stop by and say hi. Maybe come and get started with us. We're building quite a bit far off from spawn, but if you come on and you ask me, I'll be sure to give you the coordinates, and you can come around. And we're hoping to start a town kind of around this area. So if you're looking to kind of have a fun server where you're not really restricted, and a little bit more balance, a little bit more thought put into it, it is a private mod pack, and it is a custom mod pack. So we don't have to deal with Feed the Beast, and we always gonna have it updated for you guys. So whenever the mods come out for 1.5 and things like that, we'll have the latest updates. We also have Bucket and things like that. So if you guys are really looking for a quality server to kind of hang out on or play on, definitely come and take a look at ours. We're always looking for new guys. It's a fairly new server. This is pretty much the 3rd day it's been running pretty much straight. So anyways, guys, that's about it. That's about it for me, and I hope to see you guys later, and that's about it. So, thanks.